Hey everybody, it's time for some Commander with Atomic Monsters. It's Ophelia Dragon here. We have a Yuriko deck that we're going to be looking at today. I actually teased it a little bit a few weeks ago during my announcements, but I didn't get to do a proper deck tech. Plus, I've mostly finished it now, so we're going to do a little bit of talking about it and then play some games. I'm still short a Jace Mind Sculptor. Which one? Jace. The brainstorm one. I'm sorry, my brain is like, yeah, Mind Sculptor. I'm still short of Jace the Mind Sculptor, which I think is going to be really good in here because it gives the ability to bounce problematic blockers, and a brainstorm effect allows you to set up the top of your deck, which is really important with what you're trying to do with Yuriko. Um, this deck is designed around basically flipping over as many big things as possible and taking a bunch of extra turns, which will win you most games. It's really good in multiplayer. It's decent in one versus one. Better in multiplayer because it's easier to find like somebody to aim your Yuriko at. What you want with Yuriko, first of all, is you want ways to set up the top of your deck. So for that, we have Brainstorm, Mystical Tutor, Personal Tutor, Ponder, Portent, Preordain, Serum Visions, Imperial Seal, Vampiric Tutor, Sensei's Dividing Top, and then going on to higher cost stuff, we have an Augury Owl that does that for you, and some help with Spellcaster Mage. Mission Briefing also helps you set up the top of your deck. Um, Limduel's Vault is one of the most powerful cards in our deck. This here is like one of the centerpieces of the decks, which is why I call it Ninja Dreams. This is like Doomsday in this deck, only easier to cast and not as punishing. What you basically do is you could tutor, put as many things on the top of your deck that will win you the game. You want to space it so that whatever is going to be revealed based on how many ninjas you have in your play, etc., will be the high casting cost stuff, and the stuff that's going to be on the top of your deck at the points you're going to be drawing a card will be uh, spaced evenly between them. For instance, if you have one ninja, just Yuriko in play, and that's it, and you've already drawn for your turn, you would then want to put top of your deck a time warp effect that you can cast that turn, and then under it you would probably want to put something that you would want to draw on the next turn. In which case, I might put, say, like this, boom, boom, and then the rest of those right after the arcane adaptation, of course, could just all be time warp effects. Or you could, on the next turn on your draw, set it up as a temporal mastery, just simply because you'll get to play it for free. Expropriate, if you're playing one versus one, you could swap this. Expropriate's not as good as in a one versus one format. Those are our time warp effects of choice. Our Expropriate, Nexus, Karn's Temporal Sundering, which is good because you always have a legend in play. Capture, Temporal, Manipulation, Time Warp. We have some interaction with the opponent in the form of predict counters a lot of top of deck tutors like Imperial Seal and Vampiric Tutor, as well as helps counter Doomsday, as well as other top deck manipulation your opponent might do. Plus, you can often use it on yourself to get rid of garbage. Likewise, we're running Winds of Rebuke for a similar top deck manipulation that can help either help you by getting rid of crap off the top of your deck, or by countering anything that manipulates the top of your opponent's deck. I'm running a Hurkyl's Recall in this build, simply because it's really useful against certain decks at buying a turn or even completely shutting them down. Our creatures of choice, let's resort all this so we can get back to that. All right, our creatures of choice in the Manland slots we're running Mutavault because it's a ninja. And I have very poor eyes. Blink Moth Nexus because it flies. And those are the only two you need, really. You don't want to clutter your deck down. If I was to add another, it might actually be a Fairy Conclave, and probably not simply because it's harder to activate. It's 2 mana to activate it. But your actual creatures here, Hypnotic Siren is proving really, really good. It's a simple 1-drop. You don't feel bad ever just dropping it as a 1-drop. And a lot of the times it's easy to return to your hand, and it can completely switch a game around by stealing something important. Wingcrafter allows you to give your commander flying or any other creature you need to, gives you more evasion. Augury Owl is a good recursive way to manipulate the top of your deck. Cloud of Fairies is a free drop. And Invisible Stalker, hard to remove and can't be blocked. Some deck filtering with Looter. Recursive spells with Snapcaster. A little harder to hit people with a Snapcaster, but once you get it going, it's really powerful. Some disruption with Spellstutter Sprite and Spiketail Hatchling. The Spellstutter Sprite actually works well because there are other fairy options in here as well, in the name of Bitter Blossom. And there's a Una's Blackguard, which works well with the Bitter Blossom as well. And the Archmage. So you got other fairies to trigger that. You have some unblockability set up with Tetsuko, who makes it so that as long as you haven't buffed your Yuriko, it's completely unblockable, as is a lot of your deck. Salico Seer draws you a card whenever it's bounced, which is really, really, really useful. Neither Trader is pretty good recursive creature. Some card draw with Strix. Cavern Harpy is really, really solid at bouncing whatever you need to. I had games where I've won just simply because Cavern Harpy gave me practically infinite Snapcaster mages. It's also good for getting your commander back in your hand, which is really a really useful thing to need to do. Dimir Infiltrator serves the dual purpose as an unblockable creature as well as a tutor, and you can return it to your hand. So just like the Hypnotic Siren, don't feel bad about just dropping it in play, and when you need it, you can return it to your hand pretty easily. Spellseeker lets us get just about anything under the 2-drops and 1-drops that helps set up the top of your deck. We're running a Pilgrim's Eye because this deck actually needs mana. Even though it's a tempo deck, this is definitely a tempo deck, but it's a tempo deck that wants to be able to ramp out 5+ cost spells. So it's important. Trinket Mage gets us all of our little tiny pieces. Remember missing anything over here? Nope. Trophy Mage helps us find Pilgrim Eye or either of the 2 swords, which are really useful in certain matchups. I usually wind up getting a sword in Feast and Famine, simply because there's a lot of things that it just runs right through. It's a really good disruption with the discard, and it effectively is a time walk on a stick as well because it untaps all of your land. And then we have Venser as a counter / bounce. Sakashima doubles up as pretty much anything that you need and is an extra ninja. We're not running Ninja of Deep Hours because it really has no evasion. I might run it. I'm not sure what I'd cut for it, but it's hard to figure out where to fit that in. If anybody's running that and having good work with that, just let me know. Our tricks, if you can call them that, are Standardize and Arcane Adaptation. They, as far as I'm concerned, are the 2 best options for changing creature types to ninjas. Arcane Adaptation I find is more fragile because a lot of people will have removal that they're holding and waiting for it. They're either digging for it to find for one of your other pieces, or that they're just holding for it because they're expecting this to come down. However, people don't expect Standardize, and it usually will get you a good 5 cards. In fact, these cards will often win you a game on the spot. And And then for tutor effects, in addition to what I've mentioned, we're running Demonic Tutor. Diabolic Intent allows you to reset your Yuriko. You don't mind having Yuriko die. That's one of the biggest strengths of Yuriko, is that she can die as much as she needs to, and she's like Derevi in that way, in the fact that she just keeps coming out. We have modeled a mixture, of course, to dig, and the mentioned Infiltrator, plus the top deck manipulations that I mentioned before, which will find you whatever pieces you need. And let's get into some games and give it a look. Hopefully this fills up quick and we don't have to wait. I see I have a viewer on my stream right now. I can't see any names, but whoever you are, hello. We're recording for YouTube right now, so say hello to the YouTube world. Oh, hi, Orcus. We're you playing some Yuriko. I don't know how much of the deck tech that you just caught. Basically, what you're looking to do here is out-tempo your opponents, and then you have a point where you get out ahead and take extra turns. It's the reason why we're running Wayfarer's Bauble and where is it? Sword of the Animist. It's specifically because we do need a bit of ramp, even though it is a tempo deck. How is our queue looking? Oh, we're almost ready to go. It's Rogaku. I know Rogaku. I've played Mobius as well, but Rogaku and I are friends. Now, generally when we're mulliganing, what we're looking for in our opening hand is a mixture of like some sort of top deck manipulation, a creature, usually on turn 1 or 2, and maybe some ramp. But mainly you just want to be able to get a turn to Yuriko most of the time. That's your primary goal. However, this is a deck that in a pinch you can just hard cast Yuriko. It's not that big of a deal. You have a little less control over the surprise factor, so to speak. But usually in a 3-player game, it's not that bad. See, this is a really good hand. I can play first turn Depths, second turn Cloud of Fairies, and Bitter Blossom. And hopefully find another mana source. What are we looking at? Rakdos, a showstopper. That's going to be a little slow, but lots of creature removal properly. Rogaku's playing Coronis. And we got a Niv-Mizzet. Oh, it's an annoying card. So that's probably what we're looking at here. What do you got, Rog? wonder if they went the tap to pass out and then forgot to actually pass. Hey, King MC. How you doing today? We're actually recording Deck Tech and Games for Yuriko today. So say hello to the YouTube world. Nice. What did you build? Najila. Cool. Maybe we'll get a chance to see that later. Oh, that's good. I still think we want to do this, though. I want that. I'm going to want that standardized. Not yet, though. Yeah, that's true. She takes board control really fast. Najila. I've got a very happy kitty in my lap. Alright, so we're going to play this Cloud of Fairies, and we're going to play Bitter Blossom. And I'm just going to whoops. And we're going to punt and click through our trigger because of this cat on my lap. That's just like not staying still. That's why you don't play Magic with a cat on your lap. Oh, that's interesting. So Rog appears to be playing some sort of hug, 5-color hug, it looks like. Anybody has their own builds on Yuriko? I'm curious if they're running anything that that I'm not, that I might want to. I give a shout out to Triage, who, after seeing my initial build last week and was enjoying it, he built it with the cards I was missing to do some testing, and then actually helped me get some of the cards that I was missing for this deck. And also a shout out to Samurai Dance Rules, who has been playing Yuriko for a while and gave me some of his insight, and is the reason why we're running um, dreams in here. I actually like this Horde of Greed being in play. It means we don't reveal the standardize. So let's go after Rigaku. Let's not screw up our Cloud of Fairies this time. There we go. To avoid walking into any kind of like board wipe, I'm gonna slap down this and get the Bitter Blossom down instead of putting down Tetsuko or Demir Infiltrator, because I don't want to just run into a board wipe. Not much I need to tutor, except for maybe a sword. But I'm quite happy with what we have here. This should already be in play. We should already have a fairy. But I'm bad. As far as tier list, what tier would Yuriko be? We were actually talking about this earlier. I don't think Yuriko's tier 1 at all. I don't think you can build a tier 1 Yuriko deck. I mean, you can, but then you're just playing a good tier 1 blue-black deck, and you might be better off actually with a better commander, because all the stuff you put into the deck to enable Yuriko is taking up space that you might need for elsewhere. But we were saying that Yuriko could be like tier 2, maybe tier 1.5. Oh, good. I wanted to draw that. Gives me a better mana options. Play that. See what we find. Not gonna standardize here. That'll only draw me one extra card. Nice. Actually, need to keep mana open. Discard some stuff. 11 cards in hand. That was gonna be tough to discard. Might actually be better just to slam something down. Yeah, I think I just go with discarding. Worst case scenario, I have dig. I need that. I want that open. Don't technically need both of those. These are more important though, so I don't need you. I'm going to assume I'm going to draw another land. That's a pain. I need an answer to that. What you gonna do with Ralzeric? Wish I had one more card in my discard pile. Oh. Okay. We'll take that. Now, normally I would have done it as float a blue there, but that would have meant doing basically nothing if he didn't cast anything. It was better just to go for the Vamp Tutor. And because of this Archfiend, I'm probably not going to activate my Mutavault this turn unless I also have a way to get rid of it. I don't want to get stuck having to sacrifice lands. So to pay for Mastery, I'm probably going to use the Depths and the Mutavault. Dizzy spell transmute. Nice. What are you getting? Some good stuff in that deck. Curiosity. Somebody's going for the win. Having trouble finding land over there, even with like a font. That's unfortunate for them. Probably going to be losing our fairy rogues, unless I can find an answer to that. In which case I'll probably use a Diabolic Intent on one. So we're going to need the Diabolic Intent to find a mana source. I'm going to go for Ancient Tomb because it'll draw me a land. This is getting annoying. Choose this, choose this. Discard. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can get rid of that Archfiend and start actually ramping up properly. And end of turn. How much mana do we have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's hit a whole lot of cards. Five. This will hit it. This will work with any of the regular 5-mana time warps. I needed that earlier. I think we just hold up counter magic and discard a bunch of crap. I need this as a backup. Don't need that. There we go. So I have a mana drain as needed. This deck is a lot of fun to play. Plus, I find it really interesting because usually you have people get really, really mad when you take extra turns. And, well, some people still do when you do that with ninjas. You get a lot more people who are just excited to see ninjas, which is really neat. The coolness of ninjas overcoming the annoyance of people comboing off and playing solitaire games. Yeah, you can tutor. It's not going to do anything for you. You can tutor if you want to. You can tutor the night away. But my friends don't tutor, and if you don't tutor, I don't know what I'm going to say. So, if I don't have to counter anything, I'll just dig through time and see if I can find a Dreams. Because Dreams will just flat out win it. It'll just let me stack the top of my deck. You can see we don't even need to take a lot of extra turns. I mean, you can take infinite and it's great. But we've taken 2 and look how far ahead we are. I'll just float a black. One, two, three, four, five, 6. Your commander costs 6. He's literally 1 land off of being able to cast that plus Curiosity. So, might let whatever Ogaku has just go. Huh. Or not. Oh, really? Okay. I get an ether trader. So Rogaku now dies on their their upkeep. Well, they're gone. They conceded. I have to worry about his Morbius. Really? uh, Anyways, we would have got a dreams with this dig through time, set up the top of our deck, and just like killed everybody. But this works too. I need more land. Oh, someone's getting ahead on mana. We're gonna die. Now you're gonna die to your own mana vault. This is one of the funniest games I've had in a while. Ah, let's kill them with their mana vault. Ah! uh, why aren't I treasure cruising? Apparently I'm dumb. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to make this Yuriko. There's a lot of really good budget builds that you could build. This is actually one of the few decks that like I would run a temple. I hate lands that come into play tap, and I don't like to run very many of them if I can avoid it, because they can really screw over your game. So I don't run too many come into play tap lands. But this deck, being able to descry the top of your deck is really useful. So I run a Temple of Deceit in here. But anyways, that's Ninjas. Just to recap, it's a tempo deck with just a little bit of a ramp to cast out these big, huge spells. I've seen builds that don't run the extra turn stuff and just use it for card advantage. You could do that as well. That's not as fun, I find. Like I said, other ideas for here. Possibly there's a space for Ninja of the Deep Hours. There should probably be a Jace in here somewhere. And a Cryptic Command has a good slot in here. Simply because you can use it to tap everything out if necessary. On your opponent's end step, untap, and then swing for game and go off. But I think as we have it right here, this is a pretty solid list, and curious what other people think, what they're running, what's similar, what's different, what their experiences are. Let me know down below, and if you follow the links in the description below, you can get to my Twitch channel, and you can get to my Patreon if you want to see more content from me and support me. I want to produce as much as I can, and that's how I get that done. And also give me a like and a subscribe, and catch me regularly. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.